All right, about that anonymous op-ed by a so-called senior official in the New York Times trashing the president for his style and coarseness. Yep, they went after Trump for being Trump. I know, shocking. The Times says this story was published at the request of the author, which is the way the Times used to sell classified ads. Next time I want to do 1,200 words on the destructiveness of the mainstream media, I'll just call ahead and make a reservation. I joke. That only works if you're in the resistance, where you can claim it's about restoring civility, but it's really about unseating Trump. But within all this phoniness, only one sentence really mattered. When Captain Anonymous said the country is already safer and more prosperous. Wait a minute. So the country is safer and more prosperous under Trump, but not nicer to dolphins or more likely to recycle? Let's impeach this guy. Yep, just two silly variables, security and prosperity, which happen to be the best variables ever. Seriously, then, what's left to critique? His style. Trump's a big meanie. He's worse than Darth. Please, tell it to HR. I'll take the deeds, you cry about the words. Because we already get it. Trump's an intense boss who asks tons of questions and makes you feel bad because he's not like your old boss, the one that almost sank the company. Also, Trump never buys donuts and leaves his dirty coffee mug in the sink. So if you believe that this Times piece hurts Trump, you might be dumb enough to read the Times. It doesn't hurt him a bit. The scoop? Trump's not nice. That's not journalism. That's clickbait. So well done, New York Times. You may be the paper of record, but it's a broken one.
You forgot that he microwaves cauliflower.
Yes, he puts
cafeteria.
Yes, and eats fish in the green room.
Don't
I defend that. That's fine.
That is absolutely disgusting. I have to go to Dr. Sapphire first because you sound like a character from a Marvel comic.
I am.
Dr. Sapphire, doesn't this op-ed validate what people believe the deep state is, and that Trump is actually will appear to be the victim to many of his supporters?
Look, I'll be honest, I can't put much merit in a self-congratulatory letter that it's, behind a cloak of anonymity, because you can say anything you want if you're not putting your name behind it. And a part of this, inside the letter, they were essentially saying, don't worry, America, adults are in the White House. But you know what they're doing? They're causing more mass hysteria. What they could have done if they're really wanting to make people feel better about what's going on is to actually discuss the accomplishments that the administration has achieved in the last couple of years. That would let America feel a little bit better about these adults being in said White House. This is just another provocative thing. And if you aren't going to put your name on it, you can't refute it. And I find it to be very pathetic.
Jesse, why should this person remain anonymous? If he comes out, he's going to be a mythical folk hero to like all the media and the Democrats.
Yeah, he's going to land a gig at MSNBC.
And he might already have it.
Or at CNN. We were joking in the green room, who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? I don't think it's that funny. I think this is very, very serious. And it's probably the biggest scandal, in my opinion, within the Trump administration so far. All of the other scandals have been about personnel and bickering and something crazy Trump said off the record. This is a conspirator, and he's got a cabal of other conspirators inside the White House getting paid by the taxpayer. He's unelected, he's got buddies, and they're preventing the president from executing his vision for making America great again. It's incredibly dangerous. There's no way this guy's ever going to be identified because I don't think Sessions is capable of smoking this person out. We know what his motivation is. It's self-centered. We had a mole here at Fox News, and he was smoked out in about less than 48 hours. And his motivation was a cry for help and a cry for attention. And this is exactly what this is. And it reminds me of Peter Strzok. Remember Peter Strzok?
Yes.
He was an egomaniac who thought it was his duty, even though he wasn't elected, to protect the country from Donald Trump. And he took really bad actions to do that behind the scenes. This is the exact same thing, and I'm really worried about it. I really am.
So do you think there's merit, there's truth to this? Do you think it's actually occurring, or are they just saying this is a fear factor?
No, my theory is that it's a clash of management styles. They're not used to working for a boss. They're used to working for a politician. That's my theory.
And you know what? Because businessmen, when businessmen do things, they do it right away, and they do it now, and it's very impulsive, and it's what the CEO wants.
It appears
Politicians
impulsive.
Usually, right, but the markets move fast, so you gotta move quickly. Politicians, they consult. with allies, with their advisors, with everybody around them. And it takes forever to get anything done. And then Trump comes in here and says, let's rip up the trade deal with South Korea.
Or ask a lot of questions.
It terrifies people because a lot of these people are Wall Street guys and they don't want to ruin the markets. They don't want to affect the markets. And a lot of things are done in order for Wall Street not to take hits. But I think, look at Wall Street right now. It's on a pretty good run.
All right, speaking of a good run, Juan, I feel like this is like a game of Clue. Like, who could this be? Could it be Miss Scarlet or Miss Peacock? Mrs. Peacock? I've never played Clue.
Well, I know that Dana's my lodestar on this panel. So I think that would indicate Mike Pence is the suspect, although he says he's not the guy.
Could be a speechwriter.
Could be. I don't think so, no, because I think the Times understands that once you say it's a senior administration official, given the possibility that this person is outed, you better have a senior administration official and not somebody on the back bench. But I'm taken by your monologue because, to me, again,
Thank you.
You seem to want to normalize, minimalize, never, ever pay attention to Trump. And I must say,
not true.
Here's a point of agreement I have with you guys. I think whoever wrote it really needs to stand up. Because, to my mind, what this is Republicans in the administration kind of saying, hey, you know what, we understand this guy maybe is not fit to be president, and we're here, we're watching him, we're cautious about everything. Things are not going well, by the way, despite what you hear from Greg. I mean, the fact is...
Greatest economy in years.
No, let me just say...
Militarily unbelievable.
America's a great country and has been and keeps going despite his antics, but I must say his numbers, according to the American people, the lowest for any president ahead of the first.
You don't have to
midterm.
like somebody to admit they're doing a great job.
They're
Trust
not doing
me,
a great
I know.
job, I say. But the key thing here to me is that you have other publications, Axios, saying are saying the same things. Oh, I could have written that inside the White House, administration officials telling Axios. You have the book from Bob Woodward. You have the Michael Wolff book. You have the Omar. They're all the same story.
Right.
This guy is not making rational decisions, and he's scaring the people in the White House.
All right, so Dana, to his point, I would argue, and you can agree, that, okay, none of these complaints are new. We know what Trump is about. He's mercurial, he's brash, he asks a lot of questions, and a lot of questions are innocently naive because he's not a politician. And then I think that this article is turning into management. He's being managed by a staff as evidence that he's dangerous. I don't see that, but...
No, well, I said yesterday, I think that this person should definitely resign. There's a lot of benefits that you get from being a senior administration official, no matter, but that could also include, like, the deputy undersecretary of the such and such division at the Department of Transportation.
Right.
I don't think that they don't have a cabinet member or something like that saying this, because that would be ridiculous. And I don't think that anybody in this cabinet would be so cowardly to do this and hide behind anonymity. And I think also it would just be probably be impossible to keep it a secret. Here's the thing, though, about this person. They think they're doing such a good job of keeping the country safe from him. But what this really does, it's very aggravating to a president. And what they're saying is that they're responsible to keeping the presidency from devolving into something that none of us want.
Right.
But the president of the United States, no matter who he or she is, has so much on their plate, so much responsibility. The number one thing is to protect the American people from all threats. That is the most important job. So if you are really actually worried about his state of mind, why aggravate him further by issuing an op-ed that does nothing but just provide you with some sort of cover so that when you go out to seek some sort of private sector position, you can say, I was the one behind the op-ed.
Can I pick up on this and respond to you, Dana? To my mind, this person says that Trump is detrimental to the United States.
Then resign.
Well, that's right. But the other thing that they say that caught my attention was, what about the 25th Amendment?
Can I quote Liz Warren?
Yeah.
All right. So this, to Juan's point, she said, if senior administration officials think the president of the United States is not able to do his job, then they should invoke the 25th Amendment. I think she is right.
That's what I was about to say to Dana. That, in fact, if you want to say, this guy says, or a woman says,
but they should say
they
it then.
don't want to spark a constitutional crisis. Otherwise, they would invoke the 25th, because what they're saying is this guy is
I don't think they believe it.
They
don't believe it.
It's harder to invoke than impeachment. So if we're not going to get to impeachment, how are we going to get to the 25th
but my
Amendment?
point...
I mean, again, this is just causing
No,
mass
but my
hysteria.
point is
It's
that this
unnecessary.
person, in writing this, is making the case, this person, the president, is a danger to us all, to us all.
Because of civility.
Let's address
No, it's
that.
not about
No,
civility.
because he said we're safer and
Let me tell you-
prosperous. That's
let me
the two
respond
important
point
things,
by
Juan.
point. What about the idea that he thinks, so what if Russia's interfering in our elections? Not a big deal, according to him.
We just killed a bunch of Russians.
What about the idea that, I'm going to attack all the law enforcement in our country because they should be protecting me, not the American people?
Cops
what
love
about
him.
all the
Cops
corruption?
love him.
Oh, please. FBI, CIA, they don't love him. What about the corruption in this administration? What about the racism in this administration? Dividing us all.
I will go
I need to
point
see
by
the
point
racism.
and talk to you about danger, because this is not a dangerous situation. ISIS has been destroyed. There's more peace prospects.
ISIS destroyed.
There's
Last
more peace
week, Greg was
prospects
telling us
in the
about
North Korean
ISIS.
Peninsula.
He removed
They have
the
not
military
fired a
control.
rocket
Oh, my
in about
God.
9 months.
Just last
the
week,
stock market,
ISIS is back.
The
Oh, my
stock
God.
market is doing
Yeah.
great because of Trump's vision.
Oh, is
the
that right?
tax cuts were effective
thank you,
because
Obama.
of Trump's vision.
Thanks,
There's
Obama.
more jobs in this country because of Trump. We're not living in dangerous times. You're safe. We're all safe, and a lot more safer than under Barack Obama.
All right.
Take off those rose-colored glasses, brother.
Yeah, put some on.
That's what it